So welcome. My name is Katie Dewey Rosenfeld. I am the internship coordinator for the psychology undergraduate program here at Merrimack. I just wanted to say a huge welcome and thank you to our guests that will be presenting today. And welcome to our students. We're going to learn about some potential internship opportunities that they can have. So I want to get right into it. And I'm going to present our first agency which is Beth Israel Lahey Health Behavioral Services. And we have Molly Monaco here to speak with us. And Molly, I know you have some slides, so I'm actually going to make you co-host to make sure that you can show your slides, and you should be able to.
Awesome. Thank you. Let me do that. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, Katie. Nice to see everyone.
Okay.
All right. Can everyone see that?
Yes, looks great.
Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to give a little bit of an overview of our services today, our application process, and then definitely have an opportunity to answer any questions. So you might have heard of Beth Israel Lahey Health before. I just wanted to clarify that we are a large hospital system. I'm here representing the behavioral health services today, not the medical services that we have in the hospital system that we are part of. And you can see, though, being part of a hospital system, we do, part of our vision statement is the importance of integrated care. So integrated with the medical model and the behavioral health elements, that they're both important to provide holistic treatment to all of our patients and clients. And so we cover, we have various locations all over the North Shore and Merrimack Valley region. See here from this lovely little map that all the blue highlighted towns are where we actually have brick and mortar locations, but we also have programs. Those programs that are located here cover various towns and regions in that area. So we'll go through and look at the different services that we have, and then kind of just look at where they fall on this map. Lots of different services within our network. We are a large behavioral health system. I'm going to just go through, and you can see here, this is kind of broken up into, we have different divisions within our system that serve different populations, have different specialties. And so I've just kind of broken it down so you can see what the program is, where they are located. There's a list of what employment opportunities are in each program, and then the internship opportunities. Not every program within our system is able or seeking to take bachelor's level students. So that's helpful for you to know just going in. While you are part of this large network and there's lots of opportunity for networking, you know, there's not every program has the capacity to take an undergraduate student. So just kind of peeking at our first group of services, you can see here that our behavioral health community partners program does take bachelor's level students. This is community-based work, working with adults, serving people who are high utilizers in our ED rooms. They are doing outreach, they're doing resource finding, running groups, and there's opportunity here to really shadow the people who, the care coordinators who coordinate these clients' treatment. There are nurses on the team too, which is kind of great to be able to see the medical aspects of the work that is done in behavioral health as well. And there's care managers as well. So there's lots of different roles that are opportunities to shadow, and then work in coordination with a master's level provider. So moving along to our children's behavioral health division, this, while there's various services that we do have that work with youth and families, the only one that's able to take bachelor's level students is our program called Individual Family Flexible Support Services in Beverly and Haverhill. This is a program that works with youth. They do family therapy, they do group work, they do individual work. A bachelor's level role for this program would be doing group work. So there's psychoeducational groups that they lead, and they're community-based. And all the clients that are involved in this program are associated with the Department of Mental Health. So you really get to kind of see how to work with different state systems. You're doing group work. You're getting to see this program has many clinicians as well who are doing a lot of family therapy. And this is really our only youth program that for bachelor's level students. Probably the division that has the largest amount of bachelor's level undergraduate opportunities would be our addictions division. And this would be any of our detox programs. So we have a detox program in Tewksbury, in Danvers. They take a lot of undergraduate students, and the majority of it is doing group work, shadowing case managers, doing resource finding. So you really get this really wonderful opportunity to kind of see all the services and treatment providers involved in supporting clients during their recovery. So this is, I always think all of these opportunities are really rich experiences with lots of exposure to the network of systems within behavioral health. And this, like I said, this probably takes the majority of bachelor's level students, has the most amount of openings during application time. And then last is our emergency services division, our community crisis stabilization program, which is a short-term bedded program in Salem and Lawrence. This is for adults to stay 3 to 5 days for just crisis management. They do take bachelor's level students, and this is largely group work and shadowing the mental health counselors that are leading groups and supporting. So if you're someone who likes fast-paced, likes to have a little bit more exposure to crisis and what that might look like and feel like, you like kind of moving quickly, this is a great opportunity. So we'll get to the end and I'll take questions because I know that was kind of quick, but let's just look at the application process. So we have all of our internship opportunities. We have an intern website. I put it here, and that's really the first step, is visiting that website. And on that website, you can view all of our current internship opportunities. We have them listed. You can read more in-depth descriptions of the program. It outlines what the program is seeking in terms of what type of degrees are they accepting for undergraduate degrees. What are the schedule requirements? Is transportation required? So there's really a wealth of information there. And it's really about making sure you read that really closely to make sure it's a match for you. Like, oh yes, I can do that schedule. They're taking bachelor's in psych students. This is a population I'm really interested in working with. And if you find that match, then the next step would be to complete an internship interest form. And that's just a form that really gives us a really clear picture of when are you available, what hours are you able to work, what days are you available. You know, we want you to upload your resume and a cover letter. Why are you interested in that particular program that you're applying to? So this gives us a good snapshot of all of that information, just making sure that you really complete all of those fields that are required there. So really, it's important that you have a good sense of what are the requirements for my internship? How many hours am I supposed to work? When does my internship start and when would it end? So that really gives us a clear picture of the program, a clear picture of can we accommodate your needs? So you apply, find that match, you apply, and then that comes directly to me. I review it, and then I send it on to the hiring manager at that program that you're interested in, so that they can review your resume, your information, and then they would set up an interview directly with you. And then after the interview, I'd be the next person that you hear from. I would reach back out, let you know if it's something that, if it's a match and we want to move forward, or maybe it's something that it wasn't gonna work out. So that is really the application process. It's pretty straightforward. If you go to the website, you can actually, it's all, everything that I just talked about, all the steps are outlined on the website. So it says step by step. And of course, I'll give my contact information at the end. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out. And just, just some things about, that I'll speak to about joining our team. We have a pretty, like I said, we're part of a pretty big system. And so there's lots of opportunity for networking, employment opportunities. We hire a lot of our interns on. And there's a lot because we're in progress. Career path development opportunities. Start as interns and they maybe go back for their master's, they become a clinician, then they become a supervisor, then they become a program director. That's certainly my journey with the organization. I've had a really wonderful opportunity to kind of grow my career. So it's kind of cool that I started as a clinician and now I'm in this role. So there's definitely like a lot of, as you can see, a lot of different divisions and a lot of services that are offered. We do offer clinical trainings to our interns, annual trauma training, and then based on the interest of the interns when they start. I think each year this it's kind of been a theme that people are most interested in substance use disorders. So we did a substance use training. So that is all I have for you. I'm going to just pause there. I know that was I'll stop sharing. I know that was a lot of information, so happy to answer any questions.
And if you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the chat too, and then I can ask them of Molly. Or you can ask them yourself, either way. I have a question that sometimes students ask, and it might be a tough one to sort of pinpoint, but sometimes students are curious about kind of what's the best sort of type of student, who's going to be successful in some of these different programs, what are some of the qualities and characteristics that will be helpful for a student, and sort of what's helping them kind of might do well in one program versus another. If that makes sense.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I mean, I think just bringing curiosity, bringing an eagerness to learn and an openness. As we have to be in the field, we have to be flexible. We have to be able to kind of shift and evolve and kind of go where we're needed. So, and I think just good communication, because I think this is your learning opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to really, it's what you make of it, right? If you kind of sit back and are not willing to kind of do something that might feel a little bit more outside your comfort zone, or talk with your supervisor and say, I'm not someone who loves to jump in. I like to observe more and then kind of jump in after I've seen. It's really about kind of having that communication and being to kind of able to share what are you hoping to get out of your internship, and even something just to reflect on before you even maybe apply. Like, why are you applying to that program? What are you excited about learning? What are some things that you're hoping to gain from your experience? Because again, it can go two ways, right? If you sit back and don't kind of get in there and have some client experience and really take it for all it's worth, then that will be the experience you have. But if someone who's kind of motivated and jumps in, there's just so much, there's just like endless amounts of things you can learn at an internship. They're so valuable. They're such an important part of your learning experience. So
absolutely. No, that's great. I love that, because I think it's too a lot about kind of knowing yourself and where you are and what you need and what feels like a good fit. And that's even something to bring up in an interview and talk about kind of your experience and your personality and how it might fit in the different programs, because one program might fit one student better than another. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then there's one more thing I'll add that I just thought of is, maybe you don't have experience in the field, and that's totally okay. It's really about like, what are the skills? What are the transferable skills that you've learned? Like maybe you've babysat a bunch and you've learned patience and, flexibility. Like how do you pull from things that you've learned previously, and how are you going to use that in your internship? Because I'm sure that you all have things that you've done, even if it's not directly in this field, but how do you kind of take that and bring it to a new opportunity is really important to be able to articulate that, especially in an interview process.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you said that. It's something I talk to students about in professional development is, really looking at all of your experience and what are those skills that transfer from one role to another, and not discounting some positions because they aren't in the same field, but they give you those skills. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Molly?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like you said before, some interns like to sit back and observe and others are more hands-on. Are certain programs more hands-on or more observant, or is it kind of versatile for all of them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think I'm glad you asked that. I think it's different per program in that I think every program at some point you're gonna have experience with clients. So that's what you're there for. You're there to learn and to be exposed to the environment and have exposure to the work that's being done. But I think what's different for every program is the pay in person, because we're all unique individuals, so it's going to be different for every person, is the pace in which that happens. So I always like to think of it as in the beginning, you're learning the culture of the program, you're becoming familiar with what is the role that you would be playing, you're learning who the players are, and then you're observing, and then you're slowly integrating into doing a little bit more independent work. But again, good conversations with your supervisor, important things to continue to talk about, and knowing what what has worked for you in the past. Does that
Great, thank you. It does very much.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Good. Yeah, thanks for asking.
All right. Anyone else before we turn it over? Great. Thank you so much, Molly.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So I next am going to have Suzanne Ryan from Northeast Arc. I see her here. Suzanne?
So I am here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
So I don't know why I'm not able to get into, let me see my camera. I don't know why I'm not getting into my video. And I might not be able to.
That's okay. We can hear you.
Hello.
That's okay. Sure.
Yeah, you can hear me. Exactly. So should I begin?
Yes, please.
Hello. Okay. So I'm the director of volunteer services, and I work with interns and volunteers within our agency. It's a very large human service agency that works with and supports people with developmental disabilities. So people on the autism spectrum, people who have Down syndrome, people who might have dual diagnosis, which we don't have, a lot of, but we certainly do. And over the years, we've had, some great Merrimack student interns. In fact, we have one in our the Learning Center right now who is working with children on the spectrum and learning about applied behavioral analysis. And Kelly seems to really be enjoying it right now. I know I heard the question before about observation. So right now she is observing, but as she learns the methodology of ABA, she will be able to participate in this. So it's a great opportunity. And Katie, I'm so happy that she was able to obtain this internship with us. So I do try to work with each individual student who, of course, what their needs are and where their direction is. But that's basically our primary focus of people with developmental disabilities. So psychology is perfect for that. It is definitely hands-on. It well, Kelly is observing now, but eventually it's always hands-on because we're people oriented, of course, and that's our primary thing. So we have residential homes, we have work programs where folks are getting ready to work, and people have come back to the programs. There's still a large number of people who are at home, but we have many people who are in the program. And I meet with a student, and then I make sure that we go and visit the program staff, even before having an interview with the direct supervisor, because I don't want any kind of surprises.
Mhm.
It's pretty, we had a student in our art program, and I thought it was going to be a good fit, and it wasn't. So you never know until you really get involved, but it is a really great learning situation in our agency if you want to work with our population.
Right. So one thing I remember from that was, you really like having students have a sense of what they want to do when they come in with you. Or at least,
You know what, I couldn't hear you.
or kind of at least a direction, not just sort of
Yes, a direction. Yes, a direction is definitely good. And I know, well, usually our interns are in their junior and senior years, so they have, a more clear idea than, freshmen and sophomores. So that's always a good thing. But, I'm always willing to work with a student and give them the opportunity to see several programs, because one may not be for them, but, certainly another one may. So I'm really open to that exploration.
Mhm. Which I appreciate, because I think I love that you bring the student to the program, because then both sides get to see if this is sort of a good fit.
Exactly. Like right now we have a program called Spotlight, and it's they used ABA to bring about change for children on the spectrum with their social interactions, and it's all different ages. There's some very young children, 5 and 6, and it goes up into the teenage years. So that's really a good opportunity to say, if somebody has more experience with teenagers, to come to that program and learn more about ABA, but as it relates to older children. And that is available on Saturdays. We have all day Saturday, and then late afternoon during the week. Let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday afternoons, 4 to 6 p.m. and then Saturdays from 9 to 12.
Oh, that is a great first.
So that could be it. Yeah, actually, and the staff that work that program, the students would be really learning a lot, because there's some wonderful staff there.
Wow, that sounds great.
So the best thing to do is really get in touch with me, and then we could discuss this, and from those conversations, and I'll probably would want to meet people. We're right in Danvers, so we're so close to the school, to really kind of figure this out.
Great. Does anyone have any questions directly for Suzanne at this time? And feel free to write them in the chat too.
Okay. I do have an opportunity for a student. I'm going to just give a little plug, okay? Sure. In HR, in our human resources department, they are looking for an intern, and it would be potentially paid. And I know sometimes schools, don't want that, but there's The staff person is going to be on leave for 2 months, and there would be a of course, there'd be a training period, there'd be interns, but this would go through December. That could be a great opportunity in HR,
Great.
human resources.
That's excellent. When would they want the person to start?
Mhm.
Should I have them directly contact you if they're interested?
Have them contact me, and then we could go from there.
Great.
Yeah, because it still would be an internship,
Right.
even, and then if they were to get paid, and actually it's a good salary.
Great.
Mhm.
Is that HR position, is that open later in the spring, or is that just a temporary thing for right now?
So it is right now. It's right
Okay.
now.
Great.
Yeah. Thanks, Amanda.
All right. So any questions? We'll have some time again at the end, but thank you so much, Suzanne. That was great.
Mhm.
And now I'm going to
Okay.
invite Betsy Dalton. And there we go. Now I can see you better. So Betsy Dalton is from Windrush Farm right in North Andover. Oh. And she is here to talk with us about some experiences for students at Windrush Farm. Oh, you're muted. There we go.
My name's Betsy. I work at the farm and I act as our intern coordinator, which is really fun. I have 10 years experience as a recruiter, so I really like to work with college kids, and anyway, the whole process, it's really fun. We are a therapeutic riding center. We were founded in 1964. We're either the original or one of the original therapeutic riding centers in the United States. Our mission is to provide horse-related programming for children and adults with mental, physical, and cognitive disabilities. It's a whole range. Disabilities that you can see and disabilities that you can't see. In terms of internships here, we had a break with COVID where internships were only remote for doing research. But just this fall, we've started internships back on the farm again after a year and a half. We're really thrilled. Thank you. Our interns from Merrimack are always amazing. Our interns that come to us don't always have any horse experience. So that's important for people thinking about it, or whoever you might talk to. You're trained from the start to help out in our classes, in our therapeutic classes, where a rider, a client, requires extra support, and that's by a sidewalker. So interns that come right away get to partake in therapeutic equine classes, riding classes, as a sidewalker, where they facilitate the lesson from the instructor to the client on the horse. And that is as much as necessary, as little as possible. For some riders, if the instructor says stretch your right hand or left hand up in the air, the sidewalker might need to assist or encourage the rider to do that. There's lots of examples of how they participate, how they become part of the team, and how they support. The interns also help out in the barn with horse care. Our whole mission is equine, which means horse-related programming. We cannot do our programs without our horses. And so horses are the priority. And that's part of the internship, is learning barn chores and learning horse care. The interns are constantly learning and always under the mentorship, if you will, of all different staff people here at the farm, learning all the time, and their responsibilities increase as is appropriate. Most of the time, I think I want to say every time, interns that come with no horse experience. We've had interns come that explain they're actually deathly afraid of horses, end up becoming horse handlers, which means they are responsible for the horse and lead the horse during the class. It's very exciting after getting towards the middle or the end of the semester that we see one of the interns who we know had no horse experience walk by the office towards the ring leading the horse. So the internship here, I have to say, I've been managing them for quite a few years now. Our interns learn more than they ever could imagine that they are going to learn. Things about time management. If you can think about 1 hour lesson at Windrush, that's 60 minutes here at Windrush. If we have 5 therapeutic clients in that lesson, and all 5 of them require 2 sidewalkers on either side to support them, that is now 5 horses, an instructor, 5 horse handlers, and 10 sidewalkers for 60 minutes of an experience in one lesson. And then these lessons are scheduled all day long. So my point is that the interns get to learn about time management, people management, resource management, paying attention. What special equipment does that horse need in that class for that client? There are so many considerations and so much to pay attention to and so many balls to juggle up in the air. So more than you would think. Isn't just learning about horses, isn't just learning about working with a therapeutic community, a community of, I'm going to say, disabled children and adults. It's really quite profound. So that's it in a nutshell. We also are very flexible and we try to customize all internships to work out for the intern for their schedule at school as best we can. And that's really it. I welcome anyone who's interested to call and schedule a tour with me so we can walk around the farm so you can see a class. I will honestly say everyone from a professor to an administrative person to a student comes and sees a class and says, I never quite understood what it was. So if you have any interest, come and visit, schedule a tour. I think really that's it.
That's great. Thank you. Any questions? Does anyone have any questions for Betsy about Windrush or about an internship with Windrush? I will say, what I was most amazed at, I think, during the pandemic was you had 3 of our Merrimack students who did internships even remotely and had such a positive experience, and you were able to still provide them with such a positive, meaningful experience, and they didn't feel as if they weren't getting a good internship experience. I'll put Amanda on the spot because she's here and she interned with Windrush. And, I loved hearing about what they did. And I think that was the great thing is there's definitely a commitment to not only who you work with on the farm, but working with the students and allowing them to have a positive experience, which was great. So I appreciated that very much. So Amanda, did you want to say something? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I did the internship when it was remote and it was like just as fulfilling as if I were to go in somewhere. I'm actually supposed to visit the farm maybe this Friday. Janet wants me to come and watch a class because I only was able to do that once, just like a little bit towards the tail end of COVID. So I might still do that. I still picked up like a few extra little tasks along the summer. It was just like really great. It was like all different sorts of things. And like you guys did a really great job at kind of driving the internship towards what the interns wanted to do. Like if we had ideas of something we wanted to do, like that was welcome. And it was just so great.
Thanks, Amanda.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Betsy. All right. So I wanted to open it up to see if anyone has any questions before. I had some actually that I thought of that I can sort of ask of our guests. And again, for students, please feel free to put anything in the chat if you have anything you want to ask in particular. And I'm also going to make sure if you want to connect or get any more information from the sites that you can do that. One question I had was, some sites do require that a student is taking an internship course while they are doing the internship. Molly, I was actually going to ask you that specifically because I believe that is the case. And I didn't know if you could speak to that for a minute.
Yeah, so we do require that you are taking an internship course at the same time as your internship placement. And I know we partner often with the schools. It's a collaborative experience between the school liaison, myself, and then your supervisor. So yeah, it is a requirement for placement. Yeah.
Thank you. And I think there's some sites that require it. I think for certain sites it's definitely necessary, and for others they might not need it. I don't know for Betsy or for Suzanne, is having the student do an internship course at the same time something that is required or preferred?
I can go. In terms of the internships here, we have from many different local schools, not just Merrimack, we have interns coming from all kinds of requirements. Sometimes it's simply a generic requirement without a course. Sometimes it's a course, but it's not an internship course. It's just some other class where the professor is requiring it. And other times it's an actual internship course. We can have multiple interns from one college coming with us for different reasons, for different classes with different requirements. And then if there's a student at Merrimack who's interested in simply volunteering and coming to the farm on their free time for an hour or two every week, that would be volunteering. It would not be considered an internship because there's no requirement from the school, unless there's a requirement to have volunteer hours to graduate or something, and then we could call it an internship. So we can work very flexibly with that. But does that answer the question?
It does, yes, thank you. And Suzanne, do you require a course to happen?
It's the same as Betsy's, actually. So we have students that have, very strict requirements, and then some who have to just do like service learning projects. So it really runs the gamut to, especially if it's a master's program, that's a whole different level, of course, with supervision. But basically, it's same as Betsy's at the farm.
Okay, great. That's really helpful. I think that's good, especially for students to know. So I'm not sure if there's any other questions for our guests. I'm actually going to share my screen and just go through a couple other things quickly. And again, if people have questions, put them in the chat so I can make sure that those are answered. But I just wanted to go over a couple of things that are just important internship information. For any students here thinking about doing an internship, students work with their internship site for 8 to 10 hours a week, but the site itself may require more of your time. So that's one piece that you just want to be mindful of, is a site may ask that you're there more often because you may have a certain program you're working with that needs more of your time. For our perspective, that's sort of the minimum number of hours that we would like students to do. And then students take a class on campus that meets once a week. And you are expected to be at your internship for at least 10 weeks. So it's, we'd love you to be there from the start of the semester, but we know that sometimes things start a little slowly. So we ask at least 10 weeks, just in case there's things are a little slow to start. And the class itself just provides support. You'll have group supervision, and as well as discussion on internship related topics, that things that might come up, things that will be important for you to talk about and really go through with your professor and your peers. And one thing I want to plug quickly before I stop sharing my screen is we're having a second virtual internship fair next Tuesday at the same time. We have some different agencies joining us. And then we'll also have a student-led internship discussion. And there will be some students that are actually currently at Windrush Farm and Northeast Arc. They're going to talk a little bit about their experience so far. So that will allow you to get a little bit of the student perspective, which is always nice. So we had one more agency, but they were unable to join us, unfortunately. But the good news is that agency will actually have students are interning there currently. So they will be talking about their experience there and about the agency and the background of that site on that October 6th meeting. So if you're curious, that is Shed Children's Campus, and they will be represented at the student-led internship fair. So if you're interested in hearing more about it, they will be there for that, which will be excellent. So again, if students have questions and they want to get in touch with either Betsy, Molly, or Suzanne, please reach out to me. Let me know. I am going to put my, pretty much everyone knows how to get in touch with me, but I'm going to put my email in the chat just in case, so that you can just reach out to me so I can get you in contact. And for our guests, I just want to say thank you so much for coming and sharing information about your programs. I will say that you are all such wonderful supporters of our students and the students' experience, and always so willing to share information. And I really, really appreciate that. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And don't be surprised when I email you some more, because I love having you part of these events. So again, if students have any questions, please reach out. I have information about each of these sites on the internship website. And we can be in touch, and I can help you get in touch with the sites. And hopefully you'll have some students contacting you for some spring internships soon. All right, well, thank you again so much. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.